In this particular chapter, we are on our chapter number 13, where we'll be working with stable diffusion. Okay, so I'll be telling you guys about stable diffusion right over here, like how you will be able to generate image in stable diffusion over here. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here on my screen, as you guys can see, I'm over here in the search engine of Google. So from here, if I just search for stable diffusion, here you guys can see that I do have the first website over here of Stability AI. Okay. So if I do have a laptop or a PC in which I do have an dedicated graphics card, in that case, I can come here and basically I can download. Okay, so there is a different way of how you will be able to download stability.ai, but this one is a free website or a free thing which you can use to generate AI based images. Okay. So if you also don't have any dedicated graphics card, in that case, basically you guys can come down and over here you guys can use the web version of stable diffusion. Okay, so here you guys can see you do have the stablediffusionwave.com. You guys can come here and you guys can generate images from here itself. Okay, otherwise if you do want to download or run that particular API in your PC or download that, you guys can just come here. And after that, you guys can just go to GitHub, make sure to download their Windows 66-bit. And after that, you need to actually install Python 3.12, I guess, 12.6. Okay. And after that, you need to run that particular code if you do have a dedicated graphics card, and if you're using NVIDIA graphics card, that's also great. And make sure if you do have a dedicated graphics card, in that particular case, you need to just update it to the latest version. Okay, make sure to update your graphics card to the latest version over there as well. So as we are going to talk in whole, so I will show you guys how you will be able to use the stable diffusion wave. Okay, so for that, just come over here and go to the stable diffusion online option. And once you click right over here, you guys can see that we'll have a page quite like this. So here you do have a stable diffusion description, which is it is a Latin text to image diffusion model capable of generating photorealistic images given any text input. It actually cultivates autonomous freedom to produce incredible imaginary. Okay, so these are not realistic images. According to your prompts, these are imaginary images. Okay, those doesn't exist in real world. Maybe some part of it exists, and it actually merges your images according to the prompt you give. Okay, so here you guys can check out all of these images here. If you just hover your mouse over to these images, you guys can basically see what were the prompt. Okay, so here you guys can see a neon car. Here you guys can see Apple to PC. Here Lego family, and over here beautiful cyborg with brown hair. These are some of the examples which you can check out as well. Okay. But if you do want to create, here you guys can see that first off, you guys will be able to select what kind of style you want. Okay, let's say if you want an image of a comic book, let's say you are trying to get a superhero. So maybe you would like this particular style or you will like this particular theme. Okay. But if you're trying to create some cinematic effect, in that case, you need to make sure you select cinematic. Otherwise, if you don't want to apply any style at all, no problem. You guys can just go with none right over here. And after that, you guys can select your aspect ratio over here itself. Okay. So if you do want a landscape image or you do want an portrait image, totally depends up to you. So let's come here, and as they're asking, what do you want to draw? I will just put horse on the mountain. Okay, and if I come here and if I just click on draw, you guys will see that it will basically redirect me. Okay, let's come here, let's check what it actually gives me right over here. And here you guys can basically see it will redirect me to a page quite like this. Okay, so now over here you guys can see that now at this particular point I do have 10 credit points, which gets resetted in 5 hours. Okay, so now let's come here, and now here you guys can see I can just give up a prompt. Okay, so a horse on the mountain. And if you don't want to give any negative prompt in that particular sense, you guys can come here and you guys can basically go with some negative prompt. Let's come here, and here you guys can check that add negative prompt. And in negative prompt, what you are going to tell. Okay, type what you don't want to see in the image. So you can type no bright colors in the background. Okay, so I'll tell that I don't want any bright colors in the background. Okay, and now the next thing is I can just select the style right over here, and I can just select what kind of aspect ratio do I need. So let's go with 24 into 1024 right over here. There's are a few of the advanced controls. Okay, so if you want to actually increase the guidance scale, or if you do want to use a fixed seed, you guys can do that, just turn it on. But for me, as I'm happy with my particular prompt, let's see how you will be able to create an image right over here. So here I do have clicked on generating, and here you guys can see my image is actually being processed. Okay, so over here maybe it will take some time for me. Okay, you guys can actually come here and you guys can basically add, or you guys can generate multiple images. Okay, so now you guys can see right over here that I do have this particular image right over here. Okay, so this is the image which is being created. Okay, but here if you do want to download it, you guys can click on this download option right from here. Okay, on top you do have this download option, and here you guys can see this particular image is being downloaded. So let's open it up right over here, and now let's click. And here you guys can see that this particular image is being created using stable diffusion wave. Okay, so if you do have a paid version, in that case you won't have this particular mark onto your images over here. Okay, so you guys can just prompt this down as well. Okay, in many cases I do that. Okay, let's come here, let's go back, and I'll just close this thing. And if you do want to upscale these images, okay, you guys can come here. If you just click on upscale, you guys can actually do that right over here. Okay, so this is basically a premium feature. Okay, you guys can just unlock your premium option. And if you do want to see, let's come here. If you do want to remove background, you guys can do that. And also if you just go to upgrade plan, here you guys will be able to see that what is the amount that you need to pay. Okay, so if you do want to actually increase it, or if you do want to use the paid version, you guys can come here and you guys can just check this one, which is around $7 a month. Okay, if you're taking it for a year. And also here you guys can actually have 2000 fast images generation per month. Okay, and you can generate 4 images at one time. Okay, so if you want to come here, let's say, if you do want to create two images at the same time, let's go to text to image over here. And now, as I have already created an image, you guys can see the credit have decreased by 1. So in each 5 hours, I will be able to create 10 this kind of images. Okay, so over here, you guys can select, let's say now over here, I do want to actually create a comic book action. So if you choose a style over here, they're telling to keep my prompt under 10 words. Okay, so over here, you guys can see that describe anything in your mind, use short sentences and separated by commas. Okay, so that is going to be your prompt. So if I come here, if I go to this particular style, and from here, now, super or a super hero saving the city. Okay, and now if you just come here, go to add negative prompt. I don't want to see any people in the background. Okay, so if I just give out this particular prompt here, you guys can see my command is a superhero. So first thing first, I want to see a superhero what is saving the city. Okay, so if you just come over here, you guys can select what kind of theme you want. And now let's come here, let's click on number of images as 2. Okay, so now let's click on generate, and here you guys can see that it is generating me 2 images. So if I just like anyone from this, I can come here, I can select that, and I can download that from here itself. And otherwise, if I only want to download one images out of both of this, I can come here and I can just download one images out of both of this right over here as well. Okay, so it might take some time to process. Okay, understanding your prompt, applying the style which you gave, understanding the aspect ratio as well. And here, as you guys can see here, I do have a superhero saving the world. And here, according to my prompt, if you guys take up a look, I don't have any people on the background. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually work with your images. And here you guys can also see my second image is also being generated, and it is actually taking a bit of time. Okay, so out of these 2 images, you guys can see, or you guys can select that which are the images that you are going to download. Okay, so let's say if you download both of these images, you guys can come here and you guys can just download both of these images. And once I've created both of these images over here, you guys can see that the credit score here have decreased to 7, because in total now I do have actually created 3 images in total. And also, if you have your social media handles, okay, from here directly, you guys can just come here and you guys can just upload it into your Facebook account, or if you do have an X account, or into your LinkedIn or your Pinterest, you guys can just upload this particular image directly into your account as well. Okay, so let me just download both of this. You guys can just come here, let's click once. And if you do wanna go to this other image, just come here. If you just click on Ansel, just come to this image and just get a full preview of this particular image as well. So let me just click on to the download option over here and download option right over here on top as well. Okay, so now let's come here and let's try to understand that what happens if I come here and if I change my aspect ratio. Okay, so let me just generate one image right over here and I will just give none in my style. Okay, and now let's change the aspect ratio and let's go to 5 by 12 or 4 by 7 right over here. And now I won't give any negative prompt, but here I do want to give a positive prompt, or I do want to describe what I want to see right over here. Okay, so let's say house in middle of a middle in the middle of mountains, and I'll just use comma over here. A house in the middle of mountains. A river is there beside the house. Sun is setting in the west. Okay, so if I try to make you guys understand what is my prompt over here, okay, so first thing first, I do need a house. Okay, I want it to generate me a house. And where do I want to generate it? I want it to generate in the middle of mountains. Okay, so my command over here is actually create a house in the middle of mountains. And also I'm telling that I want a river there beside the house. Let's say there is a house in the mountains, and beside that I do want a river. And also I do want the sun to be setting in the west. Okay, so over here now, let's come down, let's select this aspect ratio, but let's try to create the number of images as 2. Okay, so if I come here, if I do want to do any advanced controls, okay, and now let's click on generate, and it will take some time to generate this image according to the prompt. But over here, as you guys can see, I did apply no style. Okay, so let's see without style what kind of images will it generate for me. Okay, so it will take some time for it to understand the prompt which I gave over here, and actually creating me an image of the aspect ratio as well. Okay, so here you guys can see that already I do have one images on my screen. Okay, so let's try to match this particular image, and let's try to see how accurate this particular image is with my search. Okay, so over here my prompt was a house in the middle. So both of these images to have a house of the middle of mountains. Okay, so this particular house here, you guys can see it is surrounded with mountains. Okay, so if you just take a look, this one is basically surrounded by mountain. And also I'm telling that I do want a river is there beside the house. So here you guys can see there is a river passing by beside both of these houses over here, or both of the images which I have created. And here I also do have given a command that sun is setting in the west. Okay, so here you guys can see a sun which is just setting. Okay, so here you guys can see they do have created this image quite a perfect way. Okay, so now let's come here, let's click on download, let's download right this particular image over here as well. And now I only do have 5 credits left. Okay, so the image which you're basically creating from your own account, make sure that you download those images within the 7 days. Okay, otherwise if you come after 7 days searching for the same image, sorry to say, but you won't be able to get those images right over here. Okay, and also if you don't have an upgraded account or a paid account, you won't get those images back again. But for 7 days, you guys will have those images, and before that, make sure to download those. So over here, basically, if you want to create any kind of logos as well, you guys will be able to do that. Okay. So if you just come over here, logo for online clothes delivery system known as share and there. And if I come here and if I choose this one as craft clay, okay, so if I come here and let me just put this thing inside quotation, okay, so let's come here and let's put this one inside quotation as well. Let's select the aspect ratio. And now let's try to generate an image. Let's see what it generates me right over here, as I do have applied a particular style. Okay. So 85% is basically done over here. And I'm just waiting for it to generate me the image. And here you guys can see. Now this time will not deduct any credits from your account, and image generation errors on the servers, please try again. Okay, so if I come here and if I just go back, let's say I will just again come here and I will just go with generate option. Okay, so let's see what it basically creates me. Okay, so here sometimes it might not understand your prompt. Okay, you need to specify it more in a certain way over here. Okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can basically do that. And if you upgrade your account here, you guys can see you won't have this ad which are showing here, and also you will have priority generations. So here you guys can see they do have created this particular thing for me. Okay, over here you guys can come here. If you like it, you guys can click here and you guys can download. If you do want any line art, okay, if you want to create anything or this particular thing right over here in Illustrator, let's say you do want a line art, you want to use those as a template, you guys can also do that. And in Stable Diffusion, also, you do have an option where you guys can create from image to image. Okay, so if I come here from image to image, here, you guys can see that first you need to put up an image and it will change it to this particular way. So they do have uploaded these images and after they do have this particular result. So you guys can also do that. So first thing what you need to do is you need to come here, click on upload a file, and let's say I'll just take this image and let's click on open. Okay, so now let me just explain what I want to have with these images. Okay, so let me go with put sprinkling effects on the sides make the image more interesting using more elements. Okay, so let's come here using more elements. And after that, you guys can come here and you guys can select what kind of image you are going to create. Okay, so let me just go with animation over here. Okay, so now here, if you choose a style, it would recommend that a prompt does not exceed 10 words. Otherwise, it will affect the effectiveness of the style. Okay, So here, if I come, let's say I will just put the sprinkler effects on the sides. Okay. So let's come here. Let's select this animation option. Let's select the aspect ratio, which is around 19:13. And let me generate two images right over here. And now let's click on generate. So let's see what kind of image it will basically generate for me. Okay, so I do have actually uploaded an image and I have told it to put sprinkling effects on the sides. Okay, so over here, you guys can see out of this particular effect here, they do have taken these images and they do have created this particular animation. Okay, so over here, you guys can see basically there is sprinkling effects on the sides as well. Okay, and now just click on download and click on download right from here itself. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys do have understood this particular class. And the same way, if you do want to download free images, let's click right over here and you guys can go to free pick. Otherwise you guys can go to pixels.com, and from pixels let me come here and let me just click on download of this particular image. And once you have downloaded this image, let's go to my stable diffusion, and over here now I want to drag this particular image. Let's click over here and let's take this particular image, and now let's try to give this one effect. Give a Japanese theme. Okay, so if I come over here and over here, if I just click on cinematic, okay, so now over here let's go with cinematic, and now for the number of images I will select 2. And also let's tell and effects. So now once you're over here, you guys can see this is my prompt with this particular image. And now if I click here on generate, you guys can see it will basically create me 2 of these images. Okay, so over here I do have applied the cinematic style over here. Okay, and here you guys can see based on my image, they have created me both of these images, from which the first one is this one. Okay, so here you guys can see now here this particular image, they do have a hat of the similar kind, and here you guys can see it does the same thing. Okay, so I can just come here and I can just download this, and I can just download it right from here as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope this class was clear on how you will be able to generate images from Stable Diffusion. First, I have shown you how to generate an image from text to image, and after that, I have told you about how to generate from image to image as well. So yeah, I hope this whole tutorial was helpful for you guys to understand more about the artificial intelligence, how you can actually generate images from text, how you will be able to use artificial intelligence for many of your work, let's say for your SEO, okay, how you will be able to do that, how to generate images and use them into your work as well.